All right, so I am answering questions today that were asked from the Ask Me Anything box on my Instagram stories that I had posted last weekish. I got a couple questions. Let me get my little thing going here, because if I were to read out these questions and just answered willy-nilly, this would be the longest video that you have ever watched in your entire life. I ramble, if you haven't been able to tell yet. So I thought, let me just put some bullet points just so that, you know, we don't get carried away here. Oh, maybe like a cute little intro. So for anyone who's new or just doesn't know me at all, my name is Brett Doan. I run the shop Gatherist. It's an Instagram store, a Etsy store, and I also have an antique booth currently at the St. Jacobs Antique Market, based in Canada, Ontario, Canada. I'm 28 years old. I have a cat named Toast and a puppy that we recently got called Grim. And I live in a 2-bedroom rental house with my partner slash fiance, Matt. I don't know why that took me so long to come up with this name. Okay, so, first question. I'm not going to disclose who asked the questions in case they want to remain anonymous, but feel free to comment below if you're one of these lucky people. And thank you so much for asking me these questions, or else this video would not exist. Tell us about how and why you started a YouTube channel. I'm considering it. Unfortunately, for all y'all that are watching this, I started a YouTube channel probably 1 year ago when I was closing down a booth that I had at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. I was just like, you know, new chapter of the business, just wanted to try something new. Oh my God, look at the bullet points, I'm not rambling. Mostly it was because I was inspired by another YouTuber, which many of you already follow, Amanda's Mercantile. Love her content, watched her for forever. And I was like, you know what? I am just going to embarrass myself. I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. I've always wanted to try my hand at making a YouTube video because, you know, so many people do it, so how hard can it really be? It's harder than I thought, but also not at the same time. It's weird. All you do is download iMovie app. This is what I use. I'm very basic. My content's not that good, you know, basic level. You just start recording your stuff, download it into the iMovie app, and then you can just like cut video and add in text and songs and whatnot. It's very basic, very simple, very easy, but it takes a long time to edit videos. For sure. So if you're not passionate about something, period, don't do it, especially making YouTube videos, because it honestly really is time consuming. Let's see, did I forget anything? Oh, I always enjoyed talking a lot. Ever since I was a kid, even now, I'm a talker, I'm a rambler. So I feel like just talking to a camera is sort of perfect for me. I don't know, I feel like an idiot for the most part when I make YouTube videos, but I have fun. It's a creative outlet for me. That's it, period. I'm stopping now before I go further with it because I doubt many of you really care, but shout out to the person who asked that question. Okay, next question. What triggered your love for the dark and creepy aesthetic? So it started off as a business decision in the sense of I used to be called Tiny Tassel Thrift. That was what I started out as. It was a few years ago. Well, actually another question was saying, how long have you been doing this? Almost 3 years now. I started out as Tiny Tassel Thrift. It was very like boho, wicker, rattan, you know, that kind of jazz. And then after doing that for like a year or two, I was sort of just like done. I'm done with the product. I'm done with the aesthetic. I'm getting tired of my old brand. It just felt outdated. I just wanted to stand out in some way. And around that time when I was looking for kind of a rebrand, I had come across some other Instagram pages that were like dark and moody, and I just had never seen anything like that before. And I was so like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I want to bring something new to this area, like Kitchener-Waterloo, GTA-ish area. That was just different from everything else that I was seeing online. I started with a black backdrop for all my photos. That's literally how it all started. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that the more you go thrifting, the more you go antiquing, the more you see the same items over and over again. I remember when I first started thrifting, I remember thinking like certain things were really cool. But then now, 3 years later, I'm seeing those items like all the time, and I no longer think they're cool. Because it's like, okay, I know I can easily find that. Anyone can find it, you know, overly produced. So now I am just like so into just the unique, weird, one-offs, hard to find pieces. I'm just drawn to like, I guess the darker, moodier side of things because it's what I don't see a lot of. So when I do find those pieces out in the wild, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's these I've never seen before. I don't know. That's what I like to think about it. Moving on, how do you source your awesome stock? Thanks. Oh my gosh, I just ran out of storage on my phone, so we've got to make this quick. I deleted Facebook in order to make space for this next little bit. Okay, how do you source your awesome stock? Antiquing and thrifting. Antiquing, I mean antique stores. I'm not a huge auction person at all. I've only ever purchased one thing via auction. Just from watching Amanda Mercantile, man, she gets all of her like amazing pieces, and I swear it's all through, well, most of it is through online auctions. But in Canada, I feel like the online auctions suck. You tell me, if you're from Canada and you find like success with online auctions, let me know. But like, I've only ever tried Max Sold, and I'm not a fan. Ugh, I just ran out of storage again. Okay, so the next question, which is, oh, awkward. The next question, which was asked by the same person, how do you manage profit margins when/if you source items from antique stores versus thrift stores? Thrift stores are definitely cheaper than antique stores in most ways, but I find that I waste more time in thrift stores. The items at thrift stores ultimately are smalls that I find, and they don't bring in too much of like a profit margin for me. So I could buy an item for $5 there, great, super cheap, but like the quality of that item is probably gonna only bring me like, I'm lucky if I get $20 profit on that. But given that, there are some times where like you find something amazing where like you can make easily like hundreds of dollars on that one item that cost you $3. Like, it's hit or miss. I just find that I get more junk at thrift stores. Whereas at antique stores, I enjoy the process a lot more. I think it's just, I don't know, more fun. It's kind of like going through a museum, because at the end of the day, it's not a waste of time if you don't walk out of there with nothing, because you've still seen some like amazing things. I just find that the quality of the items that I find at antique stores, yes, it's more expensive, but I also find that, oh, it happened again. I just had to delete Etsy. Okay. Oh, yes, I'm figuring out that the more you invest, sometimes the more you can make on it, depending, but don't take my word for it, but I have been finding that. So, I always try to at least double what I purchase items for. Typically, that's the margin I'm looking for, at least. Sometimes there are bigger items that you're like, I just want to be able to sell this, like add this to my shop's collection because it's just so cool. And honestly, there's times where like I'm breaking even on an item. I'm just happy to have like had it in my hands and been able to like sell it. It's weird, I get it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, my business model is not great. Oh, Okay, I just deleted my email. Oh my God, I'm so crooked. Would you like to own your own antique shop one day, or is this just a side hobby? No, I don't think I do want to own my antique shop. I used to, but I took a stab at being like a full-time small business owner for a second there. And I realized that being an entrepreneur is not for me at the moment. I think it is so incredibly hard to separate your personal self-worth with your business. So if you make a lot of money one month, you're flying high on a personal level. You're like, I'm killing it. But if you are not doing well another month, your self-worth is like directly tied to it, or at least it is in my case. So then I feel like crap. It's like, what am I, like I'm taking it way too personally. It was a rough time. So I'm content with having a full-time job in an office and just doing this as a hobby. It's such a nice creative outlet. Yeah, I don't want my own shop at the moment. Who knows? It could change. Photography tips and inspiration for your aesthetic in general. I don't have many tips. I use my partner's phone because my phone's a piece of crap. He has an iPhone 13, I believe. I use portrait mode when taking my photos as much as possible. There's some photos that you just can't use portrait mode on. And I lower the exposure or brightness before I take the photo. Those are like literally all I do. I don't really have tips to give you necessarily. I don't know, as long as you're enjoying what you're creating. Sorry, I'm not much help on that one. Okay, I think I've covered all the questions except for this one. What was your trip to Europe like? Recently, I went to England for a week and Cyprus for a week. It was amazing. England was one of those places that I've always wanted to go to. It's been like calling to me, and it held up. Like, it was amazing. On an antique level, I didn't get to go to many antique places at all. I literally stopped into one antique shop. I bought a ring and that was it. We traveled from like London to Bath to the Cotswolds to Wales. Wales was insane. So beautiful, and the sheep everywhere. A dream. And then Cyprus was very hot. Okay, and now I just deleted Instagram to start this up again. Okay, in Cyprus, my partner, my fiance, is his background is Cypriot, so that's why we went there, and he has family there. So that was a really lovely trip. I did take a bunch of video content. I thought I was gonna make a YouTube video about it. Turns out there's a lot of content and it's kind of overwhelming. And I also don't know if you would even care about watching my trip. Let me know down below if you do want it, and if not, I won't be hurt. More relieved. But yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you so much for asking me questions, and I'm sorry that I had to like speed this up because of my storage issues. You can check out daily content almost at this point at my Instagram at Gatherist. Yeah, thank you. See ya. She actually hates me. Okay, bye.